So first of all, there's this weird oddity I noticed about the status cure spell. I noted in an earlier video, although I never got a chance to use it in the battle I brought her for, that Manami learns this spell called D-All, or D-All, which clears status effects from the whole party. It says clears, uses holy power to remove bodily, um, it's kind of like unwellness, I think. My point is, this sounds like it should be a cleric spell. And Manami's mostly an offensive mage with ice and wind spells and these special things she's learned. Although she does get some things like cleric style healing spells, so it's not that out of character. But yeah, she's an offensive mage, but she learns what seems like a cleric kind of spell. And indeed, if you choose the cleric class for Stella, she learns this. If you choose the offensive mage class, she does not learn this. But if we look at our cleric type characters, Queely the Alchemist, she gets these light elemental lightning attack spells, she gets the healing spells, she gets a bunch of status attacks, she gets some debuffs, she can clear enemy buffs, she can clear ally debuffs, but no status cures. Similarly, Nanahime, she gets the holy magic spells, she gets the healing, she gets the status attacks, she gets a bunch of debuffs and a buff. She can clear enemy debuffs. She does later learn the clear ally... she clears enemy buffs, she later gets clear ally debuffs, but she never learns the status cure either. And then we look at Katerin, our other offensive mage, the one with fire and earth spells, and fire-based healing. And a nice attack up spell, which is fire-related, but she also gets the Holy Power status cure spell, but the clerics don't. So that's just kind of... I find that a little bizarre. Our black mages learn status cure, our white mages do not. One more thing I want to note briefly before moving on, the two-handed swords we've gotten recently. Most two-handed swords inflict slashing damage, which you would expect, but the Breakblade, which I believe we bought here in Pioneer, if you read the description on this, it says it's more suited to crushing rather than slashing. This actually inflicts bludgeoning damage. Similarly, the Maiden's Prayer we found in the Crystal Forest, it's a blunt weapon that's more like a decoration. It's a decorative sword that's more of a blunt weapon than a sword. Again, this inflicts bludgeoning rather than slashing damage. It also gets a bonus against undead zombie-type enemies, which would have been nice a few months ago, except we didn't have any two-handed sword characters then, so... I'm sure it'll have its uses. In any case, this is Araphone playing Lady Knight Saga. We're mostly done with the Crystal Forest. We cleared most of that out the last few episodes. But there's a big nasty boss at the end of it, and I think I could take it with the right party setup and strategy and equipment, but let's keep looking at the other dungeons for now. We've got two whole other areas to look at. The Dark Ruins, but let's start with the Ancient Tower, because we're just kind of going down the list. And... okay, this was another thing that's came up when I was checking what the age sheets are. So once you get to month 6, if you're taking the carriage that goes to the other dungeons, not the Fire Dragon's Cave, after the first few times you'll get this scene where Nita speaks something, it's like it's completely full of people. It's like, yeah, we are a pretty good group. Maybe someone should, ride one that comes along later. And you have a choice. You can get on the next carriage yourself, or, kind of cram everyone into this carriage. If you want to avoid H scenes, you cram everyone into one carriage. If Stella waits for the next carriage by herself, then she'll have a run-in with some people who can't keep their hands and other body parts themselves, and depravity up. And then after that happens, the next time you do it, you also get the option to leave Anita behind instead, and Anita, being kind of the obligate monkey, also has some difficulties if she goes by herself. But yeah, you cram everyone into one carriage. It's an awfully tight fit, but nothing goes wrong in this case. You just wind up at your destination. And we have some rather solemn music here. Well, yeah, a bunch of pillars here. Some of them intact, some not. A handy save point. Let's just save here for now, so that's locked in. And here we are at the ancient tower. Yeah, the same music inside as the Fire Dragon's Cave and the Crystal Forest. Have some winged statues here. They look kind of gargoyle-ish. Let's take the sides first, because usually it's the middle that goes somewhere. Although that's never a certainty. And we have new monsters. Akai Kage. So, red shadows. Try ice. That seems mediocre, but I think his slashing skills do still hit everything. Not seeing any interesting attacks from them just yet. Yeah, we're getting hematite, we're getting, is that solar? Yeah, that's solar steel. Okay. Sounds like a crafting material. Memo? Read it? Of course you read it. So... yeah, to the Holy Hall? Sacred Hall? Something like that. The path there. Do something. So apparently there's some kind of a double... Shikake is like a trap or a gimmick or some kind of puzzle element. But yeah, it doesn't tell us anything about what it is, just that there's two or a double thing to it. So maybe there are two things we need to go find and solve. Okay, we have a Zun, which I'm guessing is this thing, and magical lanterns, which are obviously those. This will probably be undead. They will probably be weak against ice. So let's try that. No? Okay. Maybe water then? So, they don't seem too remarkable. A magic oil? Okay, here's a locked grate with a sign next to it. Yep, this is like the storehouse, treasure vault, something along those lines. And it is, of course, locked. You need a key. So we're on the second floor, the west side. We have an outdoor part here. And there's a chest that's already been taken. Nothing inside. There's the center. We can keep going up. Yeah, this looks like it's going to branch out in two paths on the sides. Okay, weapon vault. Also locked. Food storage. Is there anything here we can get? Rotten fruits in a basket. There's a pop potion. Those are always good. But yeah, mound of rotten fruits in a basket. Okay, the magic lanterns have a multi-target fire spell, so I've switched everyone's resistances up a bit. Okay, yeah, I thought that had something to do with worship. This is like a worship room. And again, it's locked. Oh yeah, you got those cross-like things there. Alright, does this connect to the other side? There is the center there, of course, but... oh, we've got Succubus. they're probably, well, almost definitely going to cause that status. If they get the chance. But they didn't. And we got an evil egg. And there it is, the evil egg. It's an egg that the monster laid, and it's faintly moving. Well, that is a specifically succubus thing, then I suspect that researcher will want it eventually. Now here's our restroom. Can I actually... Rest as in resting, not as in euphemism for bathroom. Can't actually rest here, but there's a scrap of paper on the ground. 8-body gargoyle statue? Seal? Okay, something about a seal with 8 gargoyle statues. I don't think it'll be broken that easily, but I'm concerned. Okay, so there are 2 things we need to do to get to the sacred room, apparently. It sounds like one of them has to do with 8 gargoyles. Okay, this says it's a torture room. It is, of course, locked, but yeah, we have a nasty-looking chair, we got ropes and blades and some kind of potion-y stuff. Who knows what it is or what it's used for. Okay, this is another storage room. I think that's just like miscellaneous objects. Nothing there. So I've reached into the thing. Ow. And it got pricked on a thorn. So something in the broken box. A lever. Okay. Yeah, I think that actually did 5 damage to everyone. Not a lot, but actual damage. What are these? Electric ocean... something or other. But yeah, they seem to be some kind of electric fish. Let's try Earth? That seemed average. But they seem to have pretty high defense also. Yeah, they use electric attack on everyone. That kind of hurts. Let's try wind. Also reasonably good. It could just be that they're resistant to physical and you need to use elemental damage to do much. And that hurts. Okay, something or other electric rock and a hard scale. 2 of each. Okay, I've switched up equipment a bit to help with light resistance. The problem is that I don't have all that much that resists light. There's the gimmick charm, there's the light orb we got recently. And here's the Wind Dragon's Tears. Right, if it were holy, I could use these swimsuits we got back in, I think, month 2. The defense isn't great on them, but that's holy resist. Problem is, lightning is not holy, it's light, so that wouldn't help. Yeah, I think the Wind Dragon's Tear is a ward stone. So that's wind, fire, and earth. So I'll take someone who has just one of those. Give Anita that. So I like the attack bonus on her. Yeah, we'll switch the winds to Pearl on Horn to the Wind Dragon's Tear. So more defense, plus resist wind and fire and earth. Doesn't give the speed bonus, but you know what? You don't really need the speed bonus that much. It's only plus 5. Oh. We get the initiative. Okay, and over here, it's broken and you can't read it. And of course that's locked. Yeah, there was more we could have explored up on the top floor. Or the top that we could get to anyway. Okay, the Zuns do not like Hanahime's holy magic. They also don't like the bow Rosalie is using, which inflicts light damage. Actually, it's kind of funny. The magical bow is holy damage, but then the bow that actually has holy in the name is light rather than holy. But I think it also had anti-zombie on it, so that could be what's working also. Yeah, this is locked. Alright, Anita's reached level 29 and we're in Quattro Drive, so there you go. Good single target attack. Better than double sword. It's as good as what Stella has, at least for now. I think Stella does get a stronger skill, but I'm pretty sure so does Anita. Anyway, you know what? I think we'll call it a day for now. We had a good first look at the tower, but I want to go back and restock on supplies, so until next time, this has been Arafilm playing Lady Night Saga, and next time we will continue exploring the ancient tower.